All right, Wonder fans, welcome back. I have lost count of what week we are currently on, what episode we are currently on. I have no clue. We are in the midst of fall sports, and this week we have a good, great, special guest. I don't know the adjectives to use for this one, but it is the voice of the Wonders, Zach Erwin. How you doing, man?
I am great. Well, I can tell you it's week 8 of school, not like anyone's counting, but if that helps, it is week 8 of school, but I'm doing great, and I love what you've done with the place. It's been a while since I've been in here. It's nice to see the family honored. That's pretty cool. So you've made it your own, and that's awesome. So thank you for having me.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, it's you never know what's happening in the studio. I have it down to a science just about of how long it takes me to tear something down and then re-put this set back up. It doesn't take long, but it's, uh, it's always a work in progress just to make it entertaining, I guess you could say.
Not like you're busy at all, right?
No, no, not busy at all, man. Not busy at all. So, I guess we will just jump into it, man. PAing for the Wonders for how many years now?
It's probably year 6 or 7. So, Mr. Hazeltine, many people who watch this podcast will know him. He was our Bible teacher here for 40 years. Prior to him, or sorry, prior to me doing PA, he was our PA guy and he did it for several years. Um, and he was awesome at it. He had his own way of doing things. I was in the press box with him for a long time. Uh, as a kid who grew up in high school running the scoreboard and helping out with the clocks during games, that was kind of my side gig that actually Coach Massey helped me get. It was my first paid job, I guess you could say. So a very special memory and connection there. But I just, even doing that as a high school kid, developed this taste for kind of the production side of sports. And it's something that, a lot of kids don't think about. They're just there for a social event. And even most of the fans, they're there to watch the team, to support their kids, to root on the Wonders and to boo the bad guys. But there is a whole other side to it. And I'm excited to talk about that.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, I've been gracious enough to have been given the opportunity to see that production side of sports and athletics throughout my career as well, and, I'm sure we both share, some of the same processes of what we've learned over the years and different things we've seen and we've both been at different schools, and we've been all over the place, doing this. You bring up Mike Hazeltine. I had copied over some home video stuff, probably like 2 years ago. I had, the old small, I don't even know, I guess they were like the micro mini VHSs, and then you put it in the other VHS, and then you put it in the VCR, whatever. So I was recording those over to digital, and, it was like I was born in '94, and it was a game maybe in, like, '96, 95, somewhere in there. I mean, I was small, but over it was I guess it was back in Nick Maddox era, I think. So maybe it was '97,
Yeah, late
maybe
90s.
somewhere in there. Um, anyways, it's a home video. We're at the game, whatever. Somebody's filming the band, but then you hear Mike Hazeltine come over the PA, and I'm like, that is the most nostalgic sound that I can remember from if you just told me the word Wonders and you said nostalgia, and I would say Mike Hazeltine's voice.
Absolutely. A lot of people would say Dan Boone before him.
Yeah,
I hear that a lot.
yeah,
And it's an honor to follow in the legacy of two wonder greats who
yeah.
are around for so long and who often their voices get associated with Wonder Athletics. So to be part of that club is just, it's truly an honor. I didn't know Dan that well, other than he was my neighbor at one point. So I knew him a little bit, but I definitely got to know Mr. Hazeltine, who is just a sweetheart of a man. And so, yeah, to be filling in that role is huge and it's an honor. And, you and I both have an appreciation for the history of this place and what we do. So, anytime we get to take part in something, it has a special meaning to us.
Absolutely. So, how was your, I'm gonna say personality, your announcing PA personality and the way that you present yourself versus your day-to-day, everyday Zach Erwin just living life? Does it change? Is it the same?
It is not the same. And you've known me long enough, you know this, but the general public may not. Like, you have to tap into a special part of your brain and of your soul to project like a PA announcer. And typically, this is my personality. I'm generally laid back, have a nice, soft, casual conversation. I'm not this big, booming voice. I may look the part because I'm 6'4" and a bigger guy, but I'm like to think of myself as pretty laid back and even keel. And but like I said, when you take to that microphone, there's like a different animal that has to come out of you. So I tell my kids all the time because they're like, "Can you do the announcer voice?" And I'm like, no, because it requires a special amount of energy to do that, and this is not the appropriate place. So no offense, students, but I pick my spots for when I use it because it's a lot.
So this is I don't know the answer to this question because I've never done PA. Does your do you feed off the energy of a very key moment in a game? Or are you pretty even keel throughout?
Well, I'm never even keel when I'm doing PA. Let me say that first and foremost. And anyone who's heard me knows that I really try to keep the energy going throughout the game. But there are certainly some spots. And, sometimes it's a big play and you really got to bring it. Sometimes it's the cannon going off and then all of a sudden your adrenaline gets going and it takes over. So, yeah, there are definitely moments in a game where, or series segments in a game where you have to bring it a little more than others. Obviously, if it's a blowout game, it just ain't gonna hit quite as hard as a big touchdown that breaks a tie or that gives you the lead. So, you gotta kinda match those moments.
Has there been a particular moment that has stood out to you thus far in your career?
Oh, goodness. There's been several,
Yeah.
honestly. I mean, I go back to just big important games like the year of COVID when we had that season that was done in the spring. I mean, we won a conference championship in that season, and there were some close games in there. We've had close games with Mooresville, and so those are the ones that kind of stick with me, the moments, so to speak. And gosh, I just love that aspect of it and being able to you asked, do I feed off of energy? I also think it's the other way around a lot of times too. So I think the crowd can feed off of my energy by what I do. And so it's a very intentional part of my job and of my role to try to bring that energy, especially in those big moments, when we've got a key third down and we got to get a stop. But as far as individual moments, they all kind of blur together for the most part. But during some of those close games, I do remember particular plays or calls where, like, I felt like everything just clicked.
Yeah.
And it hit well, and, the energy was brought by the fans, by the moment, by myself, and it's great.
What kind of skills do you have to take on this role?
Well, you gotta get out of your comfort zone that's the biggest barrier that I had to get over. So, I was a pretty shy kid in high school, not the type that would want to get up and give a speech in front of a crowd. Now, there is photo evidence from an old yearbook of me giving a speech in high school with a megaphone. And I will tell you, I was nervous as all get out for that because I was asked out of the blue and I was not ready for it. But we tried, we did our best. So you have to get out of your comfort zone. One thing that you really need to focus on is clarity. You need to be clear with your words and you need to practice pronunciations. You want to respect people's names. And so anytime I get a name that I'm not quite sure how to pronounce, I always try to go to the coach or to whoever is providing the names. Sometimes the officials, we call their name before the game, and just go over it with them to make sure that those people are respected in those moments. Because names are important, they're valuable, and you want to show those people the respect that they most deserve. And so attention to detail and then not getting too silly with it, I think is also an important skill. There are times when you feel like you can be a little lighthearted when you're at the mic, but knowing when those spots are and knowing not to overdo it to where you become the attraction as opposed to what's happening on the field. So being respectful of the athletes and the event itself and not trying to make it about you, I think are some key components to go along with the others.
Those are sort of really, really great skills that you can really take to really a lot of things in life. Whether it be in the shyness, introvert type thing. I see. This is this is where I'm out of my comfort zone as well.
Right.
Just sitting in front of a camera, I am terrified at, and I somehow am doing it every week. I don't really know how, because I am perfectly fine on the other side of the camera.
Well, you're doing a great job. I've enjoyed the shows.
I appreciate it, man. Favorite part of being the voice of the Wonders, man.
I think just being a part of the Wonder tradition.
Yeah.
This place, not just football, but A.O. Brown High School it's home for me. It's where I grew up. It's where I was a student athlete. It's everything that I sought to be when I was a young kid coming to football games and other events around the school. Like I always heard what a awesome thing it is to be a Wonder and to identify with that brand. And so for me, just being a part of that tradition and really being someone who can uplift others in that, to take something that I enjoy and to play a role so that it makes the event for others and for these kids that are coming up through here now just a little bit more special. It's my way, I guess you could say, of giving back to the current generation to say, I want this to be as good as it can be for you. And I'm willing to do my part in that. And I'm honored to do my part through being the PA announcer and being the voice that can lift up many of these kids and the awesome things that they do.
Speaking of kids, you were a kid at one point. You were a student going through here at A.O. Brown. You were also a student athlete. A little bit about that experience of being a student athlete here.
Yeah, so I played baseball here for 3 years. I took a year off my sophomore year. We had some things going on at home that kind of prevented me from being able to buy into a season like you have to do because playing a sport is a huge commitment for the athletes, for the coaches, for everyone involved. But I played baseball here for 3 years. I played under Coach MC Thompson, who is just a salt of the earth dude. I love him to death. He's like a second dad to me. Although we talk more like best buddies. We still keep in contact after he's retired now from the school system. And he's actually working with my grandfather doing landscaping for the city. So I get to hear about him through that as well. But I think the biggest part was just the camaraderie. You talk about the wins and losses, you talk about the successes. We made a bit of a playoff push our last year, our senior year, and that was exciting. We took some very good teams, like a very good Northwest Cabarrus team, to the brink. And then as a low seed in the tournament, we stood up to a very good Charlotte Catholic team. And believe it or not, I'm not talking about football. This is baseball. We still have that Charlotte Catholic problem too, don't get me wrong. But it was exciting. I mean, to be able to play a sport you love, to be able to pour into that group and that, like I said, that camaraderie with your teammates and with the program. It was more than just a hobby. It was more than just a sport. It felt like family, doing something you love with the people you care about. And those relationships are special even to this day. Mike London, who's a writer for the Salisbury Post, on occasion will post a picture of our baseball team from those seasons, and then I'll see comments on it from some of my teammates back then, and stuff like that is just special. It's memories. It's so much investment of your time and of your heart that you get to carry with you.
Mike London, one of the local, regional, state legends when it comes to sports.
Legend.
Yes. Had the privilege of working with Mike when I was in high school, doing sports photos for mainly Rowan County, but occasionally some Cabarrus County stuff, and that man knew it all. Still knows it all.
Still does.
Awesome guy. Um, how has, um, you know, having that student athlete experience, being an alumni of the high school, how has that impacted kind of your passion and where you are today, with Wonder Athletics in general?
So to answer that, let me kind of go back to when I first started teaching here. So I started teaching in the year 2017, 2018 school year. And before I even taught a class, I ran into Coach Sean Zakel, who was the soccer coach at a local restaurant. And he said, "Hey, man, I heard you were coming on board. I'm excited. You have any interest in coaching soccer?" I was like, "Well, let me think about it." And that first year, I ended up coaching soccer. And I didn't know much in that role. He had to carry me in a lot of ways, but just being back around sports in this community and in this family was something huge for me. I also ended up being the head coach of the middle school baseball team that year. So I had my hands full first year teacher, which is a lot doing sports and everything. They encourage first year teachers not to coach, but some of us don't listen to that. So just having been a coach, having worked with the athletic department for several years, understanding the production side of sport that a lot of people don't see, don't really understand, but it's working in the background in many ways. You know, you're not the athlete on the field, you're not the person that is out in front of the cameras that everyone's eyes are on, but you're still helping create something for these kids to participate in and to really get something out of. You know, having been an athlete before and having had that camaraderie with my team, I want our students today to have that same experience and to get the most out of it. You know, for some of them, it's going to create college opportunities after high school. And those doors, you never know, may not have been open to them before. But for others, it's about those relationships and it's about the experience of working in a team. And there's so many skills that can be had out of just athletics in general. So anything I can do to help support that, I'm all for it. And I've done a number of things over the course of the last several years, whether it's more on the technical side, whether it's the coaching side, whether it's doing fundraising, or whether it's learning how to implement a ticketing system during COVID that was online and cash free. We've been through some things. We've figured out how to do some things, but it's been great. And like I said, I'm game for anything.
It's been an exciting journey to be with you on some of those projects, and wow, we've come a long ways since just a couple years ago.
We have, and for those of you who don't know, like Tyler and I used to work on yearbook together when we were in high school.
Yeah.
He was the local Photoshop expert at a young age, and I was one of the trusted writers of Miss Thompson, and so we went to war together back in those days too.
Oh yeah, man.
A different kind of war,
Oh yeah,
but it was
it was
awesome.
fun. It was
Yeah,
fun. I think about Albuquerque, at least a couple times a month, probably. Just Becky Thompson texted me the other day about something about photos, so it's always great to keep in touch with her
for
and
sure.
people from back then. Um, Speaking about just evolving in athletics in general, um, Coach Thompson retired. We have a new athletic director under Adam Monteith. Kind of where do you see just the program going in general? What would you like to see the future of Wonder Athletics look like?
Yeah, this is a big transition year, not just for athletics, really for the entire district. Having a new superintendent, having a new principal, having a new athletic director. We've got several new coaches, and that, you know, the new coaches thing kind of comes and goes, regardless of that. But with all these new pieces, it definitely shakes some things up. One thing that I have seen that I strongly applaud is we're getting out and getting sponsorships. And our sponsors, the ones that are new to us this year, the ones that have been with us for many years, they're excellent. They care about A.O. Brown, they care about this community, and they've been incredibly supportive. And so I can't thank them enough. for their investment in creating these opportunities for our kids, because this stuff is not free. The things that we do to promote our kids and to get them out on the field, it costs money. And for those sponsors to be willing to, go out of their way to, promote their business, like there's something in it for them too. But to create opportunities for our kids, that's what's meaningful to me. And so I think we're making great strides in that area. I think we've got some plans for some facility upgrades that have been needed for a while. And so I'm excited about that. We're in a new conference this year that creates a little more of a competitive opportunity for us in certain sports. And so I'm excited to see how that plays out. Anytime we have a new conference, there's always this air of, well, we don't really know what this is going to look like until we try it. And so there's a little bit of mystery there, but that's always fun, to go new places and see new fan bases and see new schools and have new opponents. It's nice to mix it up every now and then, because sometimes, going to the same places and facing the same people, it gets a little more, monotonous over time. And so anytime you get a new opponent or a new conference that shakes things up, that's fun. So I love where we're headed. And like I said before, A.L. Brown's a special place. And to have a community around it is essential. So for all of our sponsors, for all of our booster club, for all of the folks who support us in so many other different ways through your time, through your efforts, for our band boosters, for all of the people who prepare meals or snacks for our athletes and for our clubs, like you guys are the real MVPs, who do a lot of the stuff behind the scenes. And it's all for our kids. That's the main thing. So I'm here for it.
Yeah, it's been a fun journey previously to Adam. It's been a fun journey so far under Adam, and you're right. We wouldn't be able to do 90% of the things we do without the people in our community that support us and that continue to buy into us season after season. Moving away from sports, I'm going to say 9 to 5.
Yeah.
Not really the correct hours.
No.
But your primary position, tell us a little bit about what it is that you do, Zach.
So I want to tell a fun story about this, because this was not the original intent. So I am a social studies teacher, and I have been since I started here in 2017, but I was originally hired as a science teacher. I had a classroom picked out. I had met with the science department. I knew what subjects I was going to teach, and I had all my resources together. And then lo and behold, the week before my first year teaching, we had a couple social studies teachers that left for different positions, and rightfully so. Like, one got promoted to a principal at a different school in a different system. One of them got promoted to athletic director. And so they absolutely should have left and taken those positions because they earned them and they were excellent. However, that created a massive shuffle at the very last minute before we're scheduled to start. So the principal at the time, Dr. Parker, came to me when I was in a BT meeting and said, "Hey, I know you were a political science major. I know you had been inquiring about social studies positions before. I know you're scheduled to teach science. Would you be interested in switching to social studies?" And this is 4 or 5 days before my first class. And I've already got everything lined up, so I thought. And so I'm like, yeah, sure. Okay. So that's my fun little story. But I've been teaching social studies ever since, and it's exciting. It's an interesting time to teach social studies with everything that's going on in our country and our world. I started out teaching world history, and then eventually my second semester of teaching taught 3 preps, which teachers know that's never a good thing, not something you want. But I ended up teaching American, civics, and world history, which are all very different classes. But it was great because I learned a lot, and I met all sorts of different students of different age levels and got to really figure out what I enjoyed teaching more than anything, and that's civics. It's government. So I've been teaching civics and government for really the last 8 or so years. And it's great. It's so fascinating to not just hear about what happened when, which you get a lot of in history classes, but with civics, it's more of how things work. How is our government structured? What is its purpose and its function? And so I'm much more of that tell me how it works, not what it is mindset. And so teaching civics is great. Um, it's allowed me to invest more in the news and find out what kids are hearing. It's allowed me to, do more investigative work for myself to find out what's going on in the world and in the country and even at the state and local level. But I've enjoyed it so much. And yeah, so my primary role, long story short, social studies teacher, absolutely love it.
What curveball at you?
Okay.
What if you had to teach a science, what science are you teaching? Teaching chem? Bio?
No. So to the same point that I just said about not wanting to know what it is, but how it works, I was terrible in college at anatomy, which is just labeling like parts of the body and bones and muscles and stuff. Terrible at it. I can't memorize that stuff. I can memorize song lyrics all day, but I can't memorize parts and muscles and bones. However, once I got to physiology and talking about bodily systems and how those work together, I was much better. So I guess to answer your question, physiology, because it's how things work.
Yeah. I'll take it. Um, primary job, teacher.
Mhm.
Secondary, PA guy.
Mhm.
Primary job of a student, secondary athlete. Tell me a little bit about the balance and how these kids are doing what they're doing in student athletes.
Students gotta come first. Students, I know you don't wanna hear that sometimes because the athlete part is a lot more fun than the student part at times, but let me tell you, nothing will serve you better in life than having the knowledge and having the critical thinking skills that you get through being a student. And I felt that as someone who didn't enjoy the school part as much and loved the social life and the sports life and wanted to do stuff like that more often. I get it. But I'm telling you, as an adult who's been there and as the father of a 1-year-old daughter, you can relate to me on this, being a new dad. Having that knowledge and having that foundation will carry you much, much further in life. You have no idea how much that piece of paper, that diploma is worth until you get out in the job field and an employer asks you, can I trust you to commit to finishing something? And so I encourage you with all of my being student athletes, invest yourself not just in your sport, but in your grades, in your social life, in the skills that you can build at any of those things. Don't just be someone who's bought into the team on the field. Be someone who's bought into the experience of being a student athlete, and that first part is the student.
Speaking of diplomas, you teach a lot of seniors.
Yes, I do.
What are your typical, I say typical, you might change it every year, I don't know. What is kind of your top advice you give them right before they walk out of this building for the last time?
All right, seniors, this is the hard cam, right?
Yep.
I want y'all to look me dead in the eye when I tell you this. Time management. That's what you need to learn. You need to learn how to prioritize your time. Certainly make some time for fun. Make some time for social. But know that once you get out into the real world on your own, time management is your best friend. I encourage you to keep a schedule because for me, scheduling saves my life. If I can put it in a calendar, I won't forget it. Someone tells me something, hey, this is happening then, I ain't going to remember it because my life is busy. Get you a calendar, write your stuff down. You got digital calendars on your phones, use that, just not during class.
That's right.
Time management is my go-to for sure.
Anything else from you, man, before we part ways here?
Brother, I just want to say that it's an honor to be a part of this family, to get to do the job that I do. I absolutely love it, and I hope that I've conveyed that through my answers and just being myself in this interview here. And I've got so much love for this place. Like, A.L. Brown saw me through one of the toughest phases of my life. And if there's anything I can do to give back to this place and to our kids and to create opportunities for them, like, this is my joy. You know, nothing's greater than being a dad. I will go ahead and tell you that. And being a husband to a wonderful wife. But this is right up there. Like, A.L. Brown, Kannapolis, this is my family. And like the shirt says, man, today I give my all. And I believe you had something to do with that, you App State fan.
Yeah, it might have come from Boone, North Carolina. Zach, I appreciate you stopping by, man. It's you know, if somebody said, hey, give me 3 of the top people that bleed green and white, Zach Erwin might rank number 1 on that list if I was to give him a short list of people.
Oh, Lord. Well, I'd have to compete with your brother for that one. And with you, honestly, like, you guys, the Buckwells, you guys are all bought in.
We're up there somewhere, man, but you do it 24/7, 365, and I appreciate everything you do for the athletics. Appreciate you doing what do you do for Kannapolis City Schools, A.L. Brown High School. You're a good man. Appreciate you, brother.
Likewise, brother. Thank you so much.
All right, man. This podcast is brought to you by 𝗪𝗏𝗧𝗃. Whether you want to rep your favorite sports team, collect your favorite card sets, or chase those elusive autograph pieces, 𝗪𝗏𝗃 has something for everyone. Located right across from Atrium Health Ballpark in downtown Kannapolis, 𝗪𝗏𝗃 Sports and Memorabilia is for the card maniac in you. Wonder fans, welcome back from the break. Now we're sitting down with our weekly guy, Justin Hardin. Coach, how you doing, man?
Good, man. How you doing?
Doing well. A little bit different. We can't throw it back to last Friday night, but we can throw it back to this Monday night.
Yeah.
We had a little bit of a storm last week that kind of threw us into Monday. Taking on Berry Academy Monday. Walk away. We just talked about you were up 35-0 at half. Final score 42-6. A little bit just about what you saw from your team Monday.
Yeah, it's unique, man, to have Monday Night Football in K-Town. That's what I told the guys, which is different. But, you know, we came out hot, both sides. Defense played really fast and stingy and aggressive. And, you know, we ran the ball at Berry, and O-line was getting a great push. And so had some big plays in the pass game. And we jumped on them early and didn't stop. And so that's kind of that was my message to them last Friday and echoed again on Monday, like, let's jump on these guys fast. And we did, and I was pleased with the outcome, and we came out of it healthy. You know, it wasn't too taxing. I was worried about a Monday-Friday game, but, you know, we didn't have – I think we had 38 plays of defense, 38 plays of offense, 36 plays of defense. And so, you know, that was so I feel good where we are, you know, kind of going into tomorrow night game versus Olympic.
Yeah, that was going to be one of my stressors and questions to you is just how the team – has done just kind of in the short week. You kept practice pretty much the same, cut things short, kind of fast forwarded some things, or
yeah, we didn't. The first time we hit since Monday was yesterday. We hit for about 25 minutes, and then we took the pads back off just to kind of make sure their legs are fresh for Friday night. So, you know, and the weather's changing a little bit, and, you know, the guys said they feel good, and they didn't feel, they were a little sore after Monday, but not like a 48-minute, you know, kind of smash mouth football game. So the guys feel good. We had a good week. You know, we did our strides and stretched on Tuesday, and so and then we'll have kind of our run through today of everything. And, you know, but I think the guys feel good. I mean, they know what's on the line for this week, you know, this game. And so we moved on very quickly from Berry to focus on Olympic.
Yeah. And I felt like, well, at least me, I was just looking at schedules and matchups last week and the week before that, and I had Olympic and Central kind of circled out because they look to be right there, kind of where we're going to be playing for to keep our conference record in good standing, and they look like two good teams that we match up to later in the future, and that game last week played out to kind of be that story of
Yeah.
Olympic walks away 17-13, taking the win at Central Cabarrus. What have you seen kind of in film on Olympic from that standpoint?
Yeah, going to that game, I mean, Central was up, and Central had, I think, one timeout with 1:18 left in the game, and they ran the ball and fumbled. And then Olympic got the ball the next play. They put their best defender in there at a receiver, threw it up to him, and he called it for a touchdown, and that was the ball game. So, I mean, Central had the game won. I think they were just trying to run the ball to run the clock out, but, I mean, the running back played a heck of a game all game and fumbled and gave the ball back to Olympic in their territory. But as far as Olympic, I mean, they got a veteran quarterback. He missed the first 3 games due to, I think, a injury, but now he's back, so they're way more balanced. I think they were heavy run first 3 weeks, and now they're back to who they are. They want to spread the ball around to their athletes. They have 2 really talented running backs, number 1 and number 3. And so we have got to gang tackle these guys. I mean, and they both start on defense also. One is a corner, and 3 is their will linebacker, and they're just really good football players. They're big up front on both sides of the ball. Their offensive line is very big. Their defensive line, I mean, the front 6 on defense is their strength. I mean, they get after you. They fly to the football. They are very physical. They're very sound. They're coached well. They don't make a lot of mistakes, and they just swarm the ball. So it is going to be a 48-minute football game Friday night. It's going to be very physical. And, I mean, this time of the year, you're getting almost middle of your conference. I mean, this is kind of that's what the stakes are about, you know. And we've been battle tested early in the year, you know, with Porter Ridge, and so I think we are ready for this challenge Friday night. You know, we're healthy. We're healthy as we have been probably since the Concord game, and so we got Ashton Chavis back this week, which was great. And so, but Olympics good. You know, they're balanced. You know, they've got a really good kicker too. So all 3 phases of the game, they're solid.
Yeah.
I think their head coach has been there a while, maybe 6-7 years. So I mean, they know who they are. You know, they've got their identity, and you can tell that you can tell when they click in the system now with their quarterback back. So I mean, they're a good football team.
Both of us sitting at 2-0 in the conference. Obviously, we're just now. I guess we're halfway in the conference matchups now after this week, and I guess how do you keep your team focused and prepared and know what stakes are at play here going up against them this week?
Yeah, I mean, I'm always taking the approach to be honest with the guys. I mean, make it about us and our preparation and us getting better each week, but also, like, where it can help us, man, we want to win championships. We want to be in the mix. We want to have playoff games. We want to, I mean, it's not, oh, we just want to be competitive. Like, no, that's not what we're here for. And so, like, 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, I put our conference record, everyone's record on everybody's locker. Like, it's wide open, guys. Like, and I'm glad we've played well the past 2 weeks leading up to this. You know, it has not been sloppy. So, I'm excited. I'm excited about playing someone good in our conference, and let's get after it. You know, we've had a good week and we're healthy, and but this is what it's about. Like, and we're going down there Friday night, so in the opposite end of Charlotte, and I expect our guys to answer and be very physical. I mean, they're a physical team, and I expect our guys to answer the bell, and let's get after it.
Coach, I appreciate you being here this week again, man, and good luck Friday night against Olympic, and we'll catch you next week, brother.
Thank you, man.